Hi, I'm Josh Ochs, and I'm here at Miraleste Intermediate School in Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified School District. And what you're about to watch is a presentation I gave to their 6th graders. This is our social media safety assembly. It was about 25 minutes long. Now, this content works for any kids that are 4th grade all the way up to seniors in high school. And you're probably thinking, Josh, will it work for my kids, my students in our school? You be the judge. Go watch this. We fine-tuned this so that we can shorten it down to 25 minutes and we can turn up the knob to 35 minutes by adding in some more technical slides for kids that are older. You see, it turns out you as a principal or as an educator are probably wondering, how could we host something that teaches our kids a lot, that also teaches our parents a lot, so that we as educators can be safer? So what I'm about to show you is our shortened social media safety assembly. I don't scare kids. I believe if you tell a child not to do something, if you tell them please don't touch that stove, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to go touch that stove. So instead, I use a bunch of Dale Carnegie's techniques, how to win friends and influence people. And I tell kids, look, rather than me telling you what to do, how about I show you exactly what could go wrong? Other people that have done this will hide their name, their likeness, and instead we'll just show you how to get fired. We'll show you how to upset your teacher on Twitter, how to be dramatic. And then, oh, by the way, we'll teach you how to be more wholesome. You see, my motto with kids is, 1, they need to shine online and start Googling themselves immediately. They need to know what their online results are. Number 2, I tell every kid, I say, look, social media is good. You need to spend time on it. You need to own your online results. You need to be on Instagram, on Twitter, eventually on LinkedIn, and you need to know how these systems work. But you need to be careful what you post. So what I'm about to show you in this awesome, fun assembly is exactly how kids can shine online. You're going to see that these kids were really well behaved. This content works across the board. Now, the next question you should have is, Josh, how does this work to train our parents? Great question. We end up sharing this exact same content with parents, but they're not quite ready for it. So before that, we actually share content that is about 30 minutes long, and we teach parents exactly what the latest apps are and what each one of the most popular apps does, how it works, and we bucket them together. We put some of the apps in a red zone and some of them in a green zone, and we tell parents, look, hang out in the green zone. If your kids are dying to be or use the apps that are in this green box on the slide, please consider don't fighting them here, instead having a dialogue about these. But if they're in the red zone, if they're using these apps that are anonymous, that have to do with cyberbullying, you need to have a very serious dialogue with them. We show parents exactly what the logos look like. We show them exactly what they need to know about some of the worst apps. And then, once they're brought up to speed and we talk with them about their concerns, we show them this content and we pitch that to them. And it tends to work really well. The kids' presentations is about 30 minutes. That's what we call a social media assembly. And it's designed to show kids the future, how to impress colleges and future employers using digital tools. The parents' presentation is about 90 minutes long. We can do it shorter, but usually there's enough Q&A to where it's 90 minutes, because we want to make sure parents are brought up to speed and then given the data that their kids have. I'm Josh Ochs. Enjoy this presentation. I hope to see you in the future. You can learn more at safesmartsocial.com, where all of our videos are free. And I hope you'll join our newsletter so that you can stay updated on the latest apps. We have parent guides for you that educators can use, that parents can use. I'm so honored you're here. Enjoy the next presentation. And as always, keep it light, bright, and polite. Have a great day. Good morning. Where are the 6th graders at? Raise your hand. Let's try that one more time. Where are the 6th graders at? My name is Josh. I'm excited to hang out with you today. So here's what we're going to do. Today, I'm not going to tell you that social media is bad. Instead, I'm going to give you a bunch of tactics that you can use over the next few years to make sure you're using it in a way that impresses others. So that by the time you're ready for college, colleges know exactly who you are and why they should have you on their campus for a first-round interview. You see, your teachers are going to teach you how to shine in person. and they're going to make sure you have great grades and that you're an outstanding human being. I am going to make sure that you shine online. That's my goal today, to give you real tips. So first of all, I ran for politics 5 years ago, and this is me shaking hands with an officer. Here's me on the day of the election voting for myself. I was so nervous. And I quickly learned as I was running for politics, the most valuable thing that I had was my name. And I was scrappy. I was the youngest person in the race with very little money. And we had, one of our creative ways of marketing me was using bicycles. All of my friends had bicycles, and we'd wrap my name around them with signs, and we'd park them all over the city. But the goal was that when people searched for me online when they went to Google, that they would find an outstanding online persona with testimonials, people saying nice things, good photos. Today I'm going to show you how I got really close to winning the election. I lost by a few hundred votes, and I'll show you how you can use these same tips someday in the future. If you want to run for politics, get in the college of your dreams, or get the job of your dreams. So first, I ended up writing a book called Light, Bright, and Polite that taught brands how I almost won the election. And now I have a new book out that teaches parents and teenagers how to impress colleges and employers using these same tips. If you've ever wanted to work at any one of these companies, what I'm about to show you will get you a job there. I used to work at this one. Now, raise your hand if you have an iPhone. Most of the room. Raise your hand if you have the Vine app or have used it in the last week or month. Okay, about 30%. Raise your hand if you have Instagram. Okay. How about Kik or WhatsApp? Raise your hand if you've used Kik or WhatsApp in the last month. About 30% of us. How about Snapchat? Okay. Next, who's used Twitter in the last week or the last month or so? Only about 10%. And last, raise your hand if you've used Yik Yak or Whisper. Okay. All right, now we get into the fun stuff. We're going to play a little game called Miley Cyrus versus Hannah Montana. Now, I'm going to show you how Miley Cyrus would tweet on the left. We're going to look at real tweets from Miley Cyrus. Then we're going to look at Hannah Montana tweets. Now, I don't need to explain to everybody in this room that these are really the same person. Hannah Montana is the on-screen television character that's wholesome, and Miley Cyrus is the less than wholesome real-life person. Now, while we're looking at fun tweets that Miley would send out, and we're looking at a little bit more wholesome tweets that Hannah Montana would send out, I'm also going to pretend like I'm USC, UCLA, Stanford, or Harvard in the admissions department, but deciding who are we going to bring in someday for our first round interviews as freshmen. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of fun, but I am in the background going to pretend like I'm a college. Now here we go. I'm going to teach you how Miley Cyrus would upset her teacher, how she would upset her coach, how she would be dramatic, exactly the tweet you could send to upset your cheer team. And if you were ever wondering someday how you could get fired by sending one tweet, I will show you exactly the tweet that you should send. Are we ready? Okay, we have your attention. First, how might I upset my teacher, Josh? Well, I'll show you the tweet. Miley Cyrus would say, "This class is so lame, I'd rather be home sleeping." Oh, Miley. Now, what would Hannah say? Hannah would say, "I'm ready for the weekend." They both feel the same, but on Twitter, they're a little bit different. Now, what would a college like most? Probably a little bit of Hannah, a little bit more. If they had the same GPA, the same grades. Next, how would I upset my coach if I was on a sports team? Well, I'd say, "The other football team sucks. I hope they lose." Now, good sportsmanlike conduct happens in the stands, on the field, and also on Twitter. What would Hannah say? Hannah would say, "We're up by 24 points. Go team." Next, how to be dramatic. "Hey, Steve, I'm glad we broke up. You're an idiot. You made me cry." Oh, Steve. Now, we're all going to have a Steve in our life. Somebody like that. send a tweet out and say, Steve, you're an idiot. But maybe this is something we could text somebody instead on Twitter. We could say, I'm so lucky that I have great friends to support me. Oh, Hannah Montana. She just gets me every time. Now, which one's the college going to want to see? Are they going to want to see the idiot or the support? Probably the one on the right. All right, this is the last one I have for you before the really big one. So, how might I upset the cheer team, Josh, if I really wanted to with a tweet? Well, you would say this: our cheer team needs help. Sally keeps falling. Poor Sally. How could we clean that up a little bit? We could say, I think next year I'm going to be the one that tries out for the cheer team. One is a part of the problem, sad face, and one's a part of the solution. Happy face. What do you think a college someday wants to see? The happy face. The solution. Okay, now I want to teach you how to get fired. Okay. First, I want to tell you about a great company. And before I tell you about the company, I want to talk to you really quickly. But raise your hand if, without talking. Raise your hand if you have a best friend in this room. Oh, wow. And just about everybody in the room, raise their hands. Now, let me tell you why you might, you put your hands down now. Let me tell you why you might have a best friend in this room. It turns out, people that you hang out with every day, that you bump into, that you either go to class with or have a lot in common, because you're in close proximity, you become best friends. You find people that you get along with that are fun. You do the same thing in college and especially at a job. You're going to meet people that you like hanging out with. Now, there's a company called Cisco, which has 72,000 chances to meet a best friend in your job. And you won't lose the friends you have now, but you're always going to make new friends. So what if the company had 72,000 chances to meet great people? It'd be great, right? What if you could go to 65 different countries while you're working for them and be able to travel while you do something that's really interesting? And because they make so much money, you could have a good salary, so you'll always have the latest iPhone or whatever you want. Not only that, the stuff that they do powers 300 million TVs. The electronics, the technology is very cutting edge. It's very cool. So it's a really neat company to work for. Now let me show you how to get fired from it. This young woman got a call from Cisco and they said, we would like to hire you and we'd like you to come in and work for us. We saw your resume, we saw your application, we like who you are. We would like you to come in and work for us. Would you be willing to start in a few days? And she said, wow, that would be terrific. They hung up the phone, and what do you think she did next? She sent a tweet. Here's exactly the tweet that she sent. She said, Cisco, the company we just talked about, just offered me a job. Now I have to weigh the fat paycheck against the daily commute and hating the work. Now, how many of us think that Cisco checks their name on Twitter even if you don't include the @ sign? You think they do that? Yeah, they do. They check their name both spelled wrong, correctly, with the @ sign and without the @ sign. And that's because they genuinely want to hear customers that might be upset about their products so that they can quickly help. Maybe you turned it on wrong. Maybe it's not connected correctly. But guess what? If you're applying for a job there, do you think that they're also listening to what you're saying about the job? Yeah. So not only is their HR department listening, not only is their social media team listening, but also other people in the company that genuinely appreciate their job at the company are listening. One of those people found this, and here's the actual tweet that a very high-level person sent. He says, who is the hiring manager? I'm sure they would love to know that you will hate the work. We here at Cisco are versed in the web. Now, unfortunately, before this young woman ever got the chance to see what her cubicle looked like, to meet all of her coworkers that she may like, she may not like, to learn how great the work might have been, or how fat the paycheck would be, unfortunately, she got a call that said, we're sorry, we don't want you to work here. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Josh, you're being too hard on her. I bet she had a great GPA. She was able to get lots of other opportunities at other companies. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, if you Google these 3 words that I've underlined, or her name, you see that her Google results, which is her resume now, has a lot of negative press about this one incident. You see, it got picked up by the news at CNN, ABC, NBC, Huffington Post, and Chicago Tribune. And now, this young woman's name she has an uphill battle. She has to struggle to clean up her image because she chose to go to Twitter with something really negative about someone that was trying to do something nice for her, give her a great job, something really fun. So, I hope for all of you that what I'm going to explain to you today is I'm going to teach you how to manage your Google reputation. This is very forward thinking. I want to show you today that social media can be very good. And that although some people have this happen to them, I know that will never happen to someone in this room. I want to show you how to take those Google results and turn them into your resume. So that when someone at USC, UCLA, Harvard, Cisco, Disney, Universal Studios, if they want to hire you someday or invite you, that they see wonderful results. Now, here are 3 words that will help you get there. These are my favorite 3 words, and I want you to think about a little checklist before you press send on a Snapchat, Instagram, or tweet. Ask yourself, 1, is this light? Is it positive? Is it fun? If it is, check. Is this bright? Is this something that I'm smart about? Am I going to get fired from Cisco? If I'm not going to get fired from Cisco, then check. And last, is this polite? Is this something I'm proud of my teachers, my principal, and my parents seeing, because they will eventually see it? Then it's check. Okay, if you don't mind me, can you repeat after me the words light, bright, and polite on the count of 3? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Light, bright, and polite. Awesome. Now, a lot of us know that every iPhone and Android, you can screen grab things on the screen and you can have fun. If someone sends us a Snapchat, this could eventually happen. You took a screenshot of my Snapchat. I trusted you, says Kim Kardashian. Raise your hand if one of your friends has, or you know someone that has had this happen. Yeah. And it can be funny sometimes, but at the same time, it can go very bad. Let me share with you an experience that I had, because here's what I'm about to show you. Your best friends can accidentally get you in more trouble than anyone that might be mean to you. What do you mean by that, Joshua? Let me share with you a little story about Blake, a very nice young man in Santa Monica. A friend of mine, Blake, calls me one day and says, "Happy birthday, Josh." He sings me happy birthday on a Snapchat. He sent a video and said, "Happy birthday to you." And it was very positive and motivational, so I ended up downloading it and texting it back to him using another app. Now, in the video, even though it was very motivational, it also said, "Hey, would you like to ditch work tomorrow and go surfing? I'll call in sick and lie to my boss, but we can go surfing and celebrate your birthday." Now, I downloaded it not so that he could watch it once, but I sent it to him so he could watch it 1,000 times if he wanted to, even though it's a Snapchat video. He called me and went, what'd you just do? And I said, "Well, you sent me information and I sent it back to you. Big deal, dude. How are you?" He goes, "No, you don't understand. Snapchat's logo is a ghost. It's supposed to disappear. It's supposed to vanish. It's never supposed to be able to be reused." I said, "Yeah, well, it's not." He goes, "No, dude, you don't understand. The creepy part of what you just did, Josh, is that you downloaded my video, sent it to me, but Snapchat shows that it was never even viewed. Yet you sent me the data so that I could view it." I said, "Yeah, but do you want me to post it on Facebook? It's my favorite happy birthday song. I appreciate that." He said, No, don't post it. What you're not seeing is that in the video, I told you that I'm going to ditch work, lie to my boss, so that we can go surfing. That could get me in trouble, Josh." And I went, "Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I'm friends with your boss." So, what we said to our best friends could actually get us in more trouble than anything else. Yes, cyberbullying's a big deal. You've heard about it. But we need to be careful what we say to our friends. Is it light, bright, and polite? If it is, then we're moving in the right direction. Okay, Josh, I go to a lot of parties. I'm pretty popular. Well, let me show you a little technique. Let me show you a little technique that worked for me in politics. Now, I know none of you want more likes and comments on Instagram. You don't care about popularity. You care only about grades. But bear with me. Pretend like popularity counts. Let me show you a little technique. When people say, hey, let's take a group photo, consider saying, okay, here is my iPhone. The app is already ready and open. Why don't you use my phone? Then you can jump into the middle of the picture, put your arms around your friends, take a classy group photo, and tell them, hey, take 4 or 5 of them. That way at the end of the night or the end of the event, you are the one that has the photos of the event. Then you can decide at the end of the night, am I going to pick the one where we all look like we're partying or silly or dorky, or am I going to pick the one in the upper right where not only I look great, but my friends look great? And then you become the brand manager for your friends and yourself. Now, what do you think colleges want to see? Do they want to see quality of pictures or quantity of pictures? Quality. What do you think works best on Instagram? Is it posting 20 pictures a day or one really good quality picture a day? That's right, and colleges want the same thing that Instagram wants. So if you use this technique, not only will you get a few more likes on every picture in Instagram, but you'll also start to impress colleges because your photos will look more classy. Okay, next. That's because every post and every picture that you post on, doesn't matter what network, it's like a button on an elevator. It either takes you up or it takes you down. Exactly. You have to ask yourself, where is it going to take me? Now raise your hand if you've searched for yourself in the last month. Have you searched for yourself? Okay, I want you to raise your hand if you've searched for your parents' name. Have you guys, raise your hand, have you guys ever searched for your parents' name? Even more people search for their parents' name. Look at that. You hear that, parents? The parents are watching at a video camera. Okay. Can I teach you something that I only teach to high schoolers? Do you mind? I only teach this to 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. I wasn't going to share it today. But I'm going to move quick. I'll show you a little bit of a Google set of techniques you can use to manage your reputation. So first, when you go to Google, this is the wrong way to search for yourself. And here's why. Do you see how I'm logged into Google up in the upper right in Chrome? I'm logged into Chrome, I'm logged into Gmail, or I'm logged into YouTube, and I can see my little tiny headshot up there. The reason why this is wrong is because Google owns Chrome, Gmail, YouTube, and a bunch of other services. And Google's job in the world is that when you search for something, like I'm searching for Josh Ochs, my name, it will give you stuff that's really relevant that maybe you've shared in the past or clicked on or liked or your friends like, or maybe it's geolocation because it's close to you. So these Google results about myself, if you were to search for yourself in this way, are not accurate. Here's why. Colleges actually see it like this. So whereas I see something on the left, these results are missing the way colleges would see it. Well, why is that, Josh? Well, not only would colleges not see this result, but they'd also see, uh-oh, those are photos. What do you think a college is going to click on first? The pictures, yeah. So I'm going to show you a couple tips on how to get these results on the right instead of just seeing your results when you're logged in. A couple ways to do this. One, you can go to Facebook, Google, everything else. You can go to Instagram and you can log out. You can say, hey, I want to log out in Safari, Firefox, or Chrome. And then you can try and go to Google and search for yourself, and then try and log back in. But that's exhausting because you'd have to remember all your passwords. Here's another technique. If you go to Chrome on the right-hand side, or Firefox or Safari on the left, there's a little tiny, you see my little settings button up in the upper right? If you click on that in Chrome, there's something called New Incognito Window. And I'll show you what it does. Or if you're in Firefox or Safari, you can go to New Private Window. Private and Incognito do the same thing. What do they do, Josh? Well, good question. Here's what they do. We're going to click on that. It opens up a new window with one tab. Do you see how all my old tabs are back there? It's saying, see the little creepy little spy guy with spy glasses on? He's saying, hey, you are right now in this one window, for this one experience, you are logged out of Google, and you are logged out of everything. We have hidden your cookies. So for this one experience, you can go to Google. Now you can't break the law. People can still see what you're doing, but you can go experience the web the way a college or a future employer would. You can go to Google, don't sign in, see how it doesn't know who you are. Now when you search for yourself, you see, whoa, I see images about myself. I see the results colleges might see, because for this one window, I'm logged out. And now, what I want to show you are the 4 types of Google results you might find about yourself on the images. Colleges will click on the images. Number 1, I know you're all going to be wholesome during high school and have amazing online images, but those that you hang out with in real life and you choose to become best friends with, their Google images and their Google results will coincide with yours. So when they search for you, they might come up with friends. So we want to make sure that we hang out with people and we help to manage our friends' images so they don't put us in party mode, which is red cups someday. Now what are red cups? Red cups to colleges someday, and I know everyone in this room is going to be amazing and wholesome, but if you have friends that you hang out with that you get tagged in that might go to a party and have a bunch of red cups, even if they have water in them, it says to a college, this person partied. So I want to make sure that you know that going forward. We need to be careful there. Next, silly and off topic. If your friends only have selfies up, we need to know about that early on. I'll show you how to get over that. Next, who is that? How many of us have Googled ourselves and we found tons of other people? Most of the room, right? Okay, good. Next, then I'm going to show you positive and on topic. And I'll show you, those are called light, bright, and polite. Now, I'm going to show you how to get over all of these to move towards mode number 4, which means when a college searches for you someday, or your parents, that they find good, wholesome photos. Now first, let's start with party mode. This is what party mode looks like. If your friend is dressed as a red cup, holding a red cup, running down the street, you might be in mode number 1, party mode. What does this say? Is this good for you? Yeah, probably not. Okay, next. What does it mean to be in selfie mode? Silly and irrelevant. Is this Miley Cyrus? Yeah. Do you think it's good to have your tongue sticking out when you're in a bathtub with your sunglasses on? It might not be the best thing to say to a college. Now, this is what we call, who are these people? Tons of random people come up. They're not me. Right? I'll show you a technique to make sure that your images come up. I'm about to show you that. Next. Positive and relevant. These are my results. Me volunteering, me on the day of the election, me at networking events with my dog. But why, even though I have great Google results, why is there a baby dressed as Harry Potter? That's odd. I wonder why. Well, I'll tell you what. I was on Pinterest one day, and I had this board, which is like a folder on Pinterest.com, and I was trying to get into Pinterest. So I created this board called Adorable Things Worth Sharing. And my friends would send me puppies and babies dressed as Halloween outfits because it was Halloween time. And I put them all in there, and I thought, that's cool. And in that context, it makes total sense. If you're in the board that Josh created called Adorable Things Worth Sharing, other people pin them, I repin them, right? Harmless. Except that it slightly changed my Google results. So now you see Josh, the former politician candidate, and Josh, the guy that networks, and Josh on TV, and baby Harry Potter. Now, can you imagine if something had gone wrong where I had pinned something less than appropriate that didn't make sense? I perhaps would not be in front of you today. Or if I was interviewing at Cisco, they perhaps would pick somebody else with the same set of qualifications. So we just need to be very, very careful what we pin, what we share, what we like. Because this is, I'm using myself as a bad example. Now, I've since then unpinned this and it's gone away. But I still keep this as a reminder that nothing is perfect online. It's all about a process. We need to continually just Google ourselves and search. And that's today what you get to do. You get to go home today and teach your parents how to search for themselves. Today, logged in and logged out. You get to go, Mom, look, I'll show you what your Google results look like to your boss. Or Dad, this is what your results look like. This is somebody else that looks like you. Next, you have to ask yourself, this year, next year, the next year, do I feel comfortable printing out my Instagram or Twitter profile on paper and taking it in either to the principal's office or to a college someday or to a high school and say, Hey, you have my application. You know what I look like on paper, but let me show you who I am on the weekends. I volunteer, here's my nephew, here's me traveling, I'm a real person, and I want to show you that I stand out and I shine online. If you feel comfortable showing your private Instagram, your private Twitter account, then you're in a good place. If you don't, over the next couple years, we have a little bit of time to get you there. Next, this is my most fun part. I only have 6 slides left. Josh, how might I fix my online image if lots of other people come up that I don't know? How could I fix that? I'm about to show you that. I want to make sure that you own the first page of your Google results with content that you created. Classy group photos, volunteering. Let me show you what that looks like. If you've ever someday wanted to work for the world's biggest digital marketing agency, consider Instagramming like my friend Camille on the left here. Thanks to my friends for inviting me to join them in these great seats. Go Dodgers. Notice how she says thanks. Next, if you have ever wanted to be on KTLA News and talk to millions of people to teach them technology, be like Rich here, where he says, thank you to Shelter Hope Pet Shop for letting us share some of our tech tips with you. Keep up the great work helping these dogs find a loving home. Notice how they both start humbly with thanks or thank you, and then they talk to the person that they're thanking, whether it's an organization or a person. Next, if you have ever wanted to work at Disneyland, running their social media accounts and being on Disneyland's park all day long, be like Lisa right here as she volunteers on Disneyland and she Instagrams this picture. Special thanks to my team at Disneyland Parks for all that they do to make dreams come true at the most magical place on earth. You notice how that message is not about her, it's more about saying thank you to others. And last, if you've ever wanted to be in the Miss America pageant, be like the woman on the left here, Miss Utah, and consider posting something like this. Thanks to my friends who supported me over the last year in the Miss America pageant. With their help, I can represent Utah and teach kids nationwide about setting their goals. Now, let me show you somebody that I caught doing something right. This is a young woman named Elise, and Elise is a senior in high school, or was last year. She posted this. She said, I'm so proud of my BBHS Tigers. Shout out to Chance for being my favorite player and best friend. Now, what if Chance went off and was being looked at for a college scholarship by a great school? Do you think Chance would be proud of this classy photo? No peace signs, no tongue sticking out. It's a pretty good tweet, right? Great. Now, one day, there was a power outage in Elise's city. And guess what? When there's a power outage, does that mean the Wi-Fi works? No, it's a bummer. But guess what? Elise decided to send this post because she knew colleges were watching. She sent this post. She said, I'm so thankful to have such a great family. I had a great day even with our power outage, hashtag 'tis the season. And do you know what a college would say if they saw that? They'd say, wait, our power goes out in our freshman dorms every month. If that's how she complains, we need to get her in here on campus for a first round interview immediately. We need more complainers like this. She's very, very positive. Okay, next. This is my last post from her, my second to last post for the whole presentation. Now, we saw how Cisco could say, no thank you, we don't want you to work here because you made fun of us. This is her on her final round tour of the college that she got accepted to, and she's going to probably look at the dorms. She says, I had so much fun on my college visit to KU today. I'm so ready for next year. This is their mascot. Do you think she would get an awkward phone call if she did something inappropriate on Twitter to that mascot? Probably, right? We've seen it happen at other companies and other organizations. Now, this is my last image I'm going to share with you. This is a young man named Jonathan, and he knew that colleges and future employers were looking at him so very much that he sent one picture out on Twitter one day, and it has become somewhat famous. He handwrote a note that says, Dear colleges, please accept me. I'm a good person. Sincerely, Jonathan. And all the message said in the text was, finished my college apps because he wanted colleges to discover him, to Google him. He used his real name so that he could start to create an online identity that shines online to impress them. Josh, what's your formula? Okay, use this wisely. Over the next few years, you need to volunteer somewhere. You could be an animal shelter, a hospital, or if you're lazy, you can just grab a friend and walk a neighbor's dog with them. That's kind of what I do. Okay, then here's the formula. Take a classy group photo of you doing something great without a peace sign, without your tongue sticking out. Then say thank you to this organization or to my friend for helping me with this activity. Thanks to their help, here's the outcome. All right, my friends, I want to thank you for coming out. My name is Josh Ochs.